Good afternoon, people. What's up? What's up, everyone? Trying to figure this out. So essentially, every time. Oh, there we go. I got Ralph coming on. Um. Okay, I got Ralph joined. What's up, V? Okay. What
Yo,
up,
what's
bro?
up, Sess?
Oof.
Nothing much.
I actually could see you on. What's up, Valerio? What's going on, brother? How you doing? Okay, I got an echo on my end. Oh, I think you got two. I think if you mute one of yours, let me see. Yeah, I could. On on. That's interesting. Myself. Okay, every time I unmute myself, that's what happens. Hmm. Can you mute one of yours? The restroom? Ah, that's weird. Let me see. Alright, weird. Something. It kicked you off Restream, but yeah.
It's a key topic, bro.
I know. I can't. I mean, that's why I wanted Babs to get on IG. If the rest doesn't go live on the other platforms, it's okay. But join us on IG. It's easy. Follow me, Cimifly, CIMIFLY _ Diesel, and we get the conversation going on. So staff says it's definitely coming from your end. Says, yeah, if you have a monitor, make sure either laptop speakers are on, the monitor speakers, but not on. Okay, laptop. So I'm using a computer. Okay, and okay, so maybe I could do this. That's probably what it is. I could mute that, but then nobody will hear me. Okay, so I'm fine now, I think. But
Oh yeah.
but if you log in, I think it's maybe the too many sounds. Okay, so Vino, what's up? I'm gonna let you in.
Yeah, I just got through my phone. I'm not.
Okay, I got Bob's on the what do you call it? The rest stream. So Bob's join on what do you on join on
Instagram.
Instagram. So if anything, at least the three of us can be on IG. And
I'm actually on my cell phone because my
Oh,
laptop. I'm
you can
not sure
download
what's
from
going
IG
on.
and post it to the Facebook, huh?
yeah, well, I mean, they just won't know he's online there, but it'll just be like almost me having conversations with two different people on two different platforms. But that's okay. Uh, basically, this is my name is Cecil Williams. This is episode 7 of the Cimifly Live, the Entrepreneur's Journey. Today, I have online, unfortunately, probably on two different platforms. I have with me Ralph Diesel, Raphael Say, my business partner with the Royal Dynamite, and I have Elvino George, um, a motivational speaker, leadership coach, friend of mine from Los Angeles for a very long time, and we're going to be talking about an interesting topic today. We're going to be talking about the money mindset from an African point of view. So this is going to be one of those interesting ones. Sorry it's taking us long to figure all this out, but as you know, social media always has its mind. There you go. So I think I have you, Ralph, and hopefully it doesn't create any.
Yeah, it is. I'm muted. It is. So I'm just gonna drop off of there. I'll stay on IG.
Okay. So basically today's topic is going to be talking about money mindset from an African perspective. And this is something that the last two episodes that I did on the Cimifly live, you could check them out on YouTube. Just go search Cimifly, Cimifly on YouTube. And what's up, Yaz? And what's up, Nadia? You can pretty much get it. The last one we talked about a money mindset. So just a general money mindset, or what people, the kind of mindset people need to have to gain financial freedom, or like I say, to live the soft life. But today, essentially, what we're going to be talking about is the money mindset from an African perspective. I mean, I think all of us are descendants or were born in on the African continent, and it's a generational thing from our grandparents to our parents to our generation to even our kids, and we see different perspectives on money based on how we were raised and where we were raised. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't all grow up in the same place due to varying different reasons, and maybe it could be fortunately. Just depends on from what perspective you like to look at it from. So, essentially, one of the things before I normally start these things, I like to give quotes, and one of the reasons, one of the quotes that we're going to be talking, I'm going to say today is going to be an actual topic that we talk about. So, going to try to keep it to under an hour for you guys. But the first one is "Where yam swite kobam." It's a Sierra Leonean proverb, and essentially just means when you achieve success, or when you've made it, accomplishment, success, you need to just downplay it, lay low, keep quiet about it. This is just how we've been told in Sierra Leone about success or achievement. So we're going to actually talk about it a little bit more. And there's some instances of an article about a Sierra Leonean on Bloomberg about some real estate investments that happened recently. And we had varying discussions about it, which was a generational thing, from the older saying he needs to walk away from it and us saying no, he needs to pursue it because it's his right. So that's one. The other is wisdom is not like money to be tied up and hidden. So it's an Akan proverb. It's an African proverb. So essentially, the funny thing why I chose this particular one is it says wisdom is not like money to be tied up and hidden. The Africans believe that money should be tied up and hidden. I guess I don't know necessarily what the tied up part is, but I guess if you can kind of say tied up, it's keeping it away from the masses, the publics, what people know. But hidden is don't let people know that you've made it financially. You don't want people to know that you're financially successful. So live a modest life and that type of stuff. But it's saying wisdom is not to be hidden like money. But here in Western culture, it's saying wisdom and money are to be put out there. I mean, if you look today with social media outlets like Instagram and all that type of stuff, we're getting to know about all these things because of wisdom. We're getting to know about the hustle, the different businesses we start because of the wisdom and knowledge we gain to be able to apply it to multiply our money. And then the last one is when you follow in the path of your father, you will learn to walk like him. It's an Ashanti proverb from Ghana. But crazy thing about that is it's just basically saying our parents' generation did things a little differently. So if we continue to do things like them, then we will follow or go down the path they went, and we're basically trying to trailblaze a different path or maybe learn from present day or what we've learned, which is a little different from them, or learn from their mistakes and embrace what they've taught us traditionally, but take a new path and create new avenues for what we're doing. So today I have with me Ralph and I have Elvino, and we're just going to be talking about some of these different points of views about this stuff. So I'll give Ralph, just say a little something, tell the people who you are, tell them what you're doing before we get started. I think you're on mute. Yeah, you're still on mute. Not really sure why, but you're still on mute. Technical difficulties, but yeah. So Vino, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. So just real quick, Ralph's left, so he'll come back now. Just tell the people a little bit about you and who you are, what you do, and we'll get started with that.
Well, obviously, thanks for having me on. And can you see me, or you can
I
just
can
hear me,
see
right?
you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I know the people on IG might not see you, but I believe they can hear you.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I'm Elvino de Souza George, as he said, and obviously I've known this man, close to 20 years, and I got to say this because I've said this, in a one-on-one basis, whenever like money conversations come on, I think about Cecil, right? Because over the last 2 decades, he's been consistent about what he wants to do. But anyways, I'm a logistics manager
Uh-oh.
here in Los Angeles, and I'm also an entrepreneur on the side. I am also a leadership coach, John Maxwell certified, and I think there's a need to inspire people in the world, and I'm just fulfilling my calling. So thanks for having me on.
No doubt, brother. Cool, cool, cool. So I know I have Ralph on the other side, and Ralph, if you could just tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, um, we can. I know you're on the road.
Clear now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
All right, perfect, man. Hey, my bad, guys, for the technical difficulties. But my name is Ralph Diesel, Cecil's business partner in a couple of different things, primarily Raw Dynamite. As you see, Raw Dynamite represented to the life, to the death of me. Freetown, Subway, Cimifly Money, Cimifly Live. These are all things that we built, and helped each other build as a brotherhood growing up. Hailing from the city of LA, which is where I first met Cecil, all the way till now. Serial entrepreneur. Ownership is the key to me. So, being on this live, representing my brands, wearing my brands on a daily basis, things of that sort, that's just me and that's just who I am. I love money, guys. However, from a perspective,
Hey.
I'm an Afro. Me not Afro. So they can break down how I look at African money, and they can break down from their perspective how they look at African money. So nice to meet everybody. Hope you guys tap in with some good questions.
Bob, I was going to ask you a question. Did you want to just get on the IG? And unfortunately, my red stream wouldn't. It will just be me talking, and then at least the three of us can be on there, rather than having you two on separate platforms.
If there's you want to send me the link and I'll log
No,
in.
so just go on your IG. So go on IG, you will see
Okay.
me live, and or follow me, Cimifly, and then once you see me, request to join, because once you go into my live, it asks you if you request to join, so you can get. But now that you guys have gotten a little feel, because I know you people are hearing his voice on another platform, and I really wanted us to have this discussion because I want them to be on the same platform, because the interesting part is, I mean, we have our little chat groups on WhatsApp, and we have varying points of view when it comes to money and things. I mean, and the first thing I'd like to talk about is the idea of where Yam Swites cover, and I'm going to give context. So for Elvino and I, we grew up in Sierra Leone, and we subscribed to that mindset maybe until we came to America and had to have mindset changes. And he said something to me the other day: we have to unlearn to learn, which is very true. So um, now with Ralph, on the other hand, I mean, there's no secret. Ralph has a huge social media following, and we always say Ralph is willing to put everything. I mean, it's not like he puts his entire personal life on social media, but he's willing to put more things on social media than maybe Alvino and I are comfortable to put. And I kind of want to get to the bottom of it as to why, because I think most of us Africans don't want to do that. And is there a benefit or a con to that? Why do we not like telling people about our successes, especially our financial successes? So, Ralph, you were born here. Your mom and your grandmother raised you. They have the Sierra Leonean traditions, so you know what I'm talking about, and most people will relate. But what makes you different? I mean, there's why didn't you take that perspective? I mean, it's partly being raised here, but you tell me from your perspective what you think about the way Yam Swite Kobam. I mean, essentially, when you achieve success, to dumb it down, and you don't do that. If I mean, to put it bluntly, you don't. So
Well, see, the thing is, Seth, you know, me growing up in LA, Seth, I'll be honest, man, I didn't really uphold those proverbial standards until my stepfather came in the picture. 1996, I was about 10, 11 years old.
okay,
And I mean, he was a comedian, so obviously outright he was putting everything he had out on the line. You know, I've heard stories of him at Edwards parades, and when the Edwards parades, and they hear American Steve on the way, the street clear, and everyone is going in and trying to watch his comedy show, things of that sort. You know, I saw him have to open himself up in order to bring in more success.
okay.
You know, he had to advertise himself. He had to do all these things in order to bring that in. So I'm not saying that's what caused me to have that mindset, but that may be one of the factors there. Second, Seth, really until social media got hot, we're not talking about the MySpaces. I'm talking about the Facebooks, the IGs, and
Yeah.
until I got hot, Seth, your yams could be white, or you could have been successful, but you still had to put it out to, so people really didn't know. You know, people really didn't know how successful you were during those times.
Okay. Okay.
I've seen Issa use Issa Rae, which is for everyone that's
Everybody
watching,
knows who she
someone
is.
I went to school with, a good friend of mine. I saw her use social media. We both saw her put herself out there.
Yeah.
She would put out 10%, would bring in 80%. And we're money guys, bro. We would look at it like, okay, hold on. She's putting some sort of an investment out, and she's bringing back that ROI. I saw Nipsey Hussle do it. Okay, I saw Kai Kamara do it. So once all these people were actually putting themselves out there, and I could tell the level of discretion. For example, with Nipsey, like I know secrets that the public would never know, but however his life was on social media, his life was for the public eye to view.
Okay.
Bringing him in more of an ROI, but the private things stayed home. For that reason, I really know. I don't believe in any spiritual type things, but it's just like the universe, man. You want to flex to the universe is going to humble you. So that's why some things you don't put out there. But in short, I saw all these people put themselves out there, and this
Babs, request to join. Okay.
they put themselves out there in this present age, and they turned it to an ROI. So my mentality is always different. Man, look, if I gotta go live really quick in order to draw in traffic to my page, and in turn that's gonna sell me 3 extra subs, and hold on, me just saying a few things made me $30. That was well worth it. So that's how I think on it. It's kind of like a by any means, but I do kind of understand that, one, when it's too early, you don't put it out, and two, I just keep it to a certain amount of level, and that's the point where you need to cover the pot and not show anything, but keep it to a level to where it's still some humility.
Makes sense, yeah. Babs, turn your phone screen, I guess, a different, because you have it, I guess, landscape. You need to make it, yeah. There you go.
I'm glad Bob's is on, man, because I want to hear this. Like you said, so we got these group chats and all that, and me and Bob's go hard on each other because I come from this perspective and he comes from that. So I'd love to hear his perspective as to why, when you hit that pinnacle of success, or
What's up, Kai?
Why do you lay low with it?
So Bobs, tell us. I mean, we were both born in Sierra Leone, so we grew up. I mean, you came here earlier than I did, but the whole way you yam slide kabam, and for people who don't understand what that means, it just simply means when you attain financial success or other kinds of achievements, you need to lay low and just kind of not tell everybody what you're doing. So our parents probably subscribe to that, and a lot of Sierra Leoneans do, or Africans generally do. What's your take on that perspective from a Sierra Leonean and an African perspective? What's your point of view on that?
Even before I go into that, I'm going to say, and Ralph, you're gonna love this, right? Right? My views are evolving, right? They are.
Oh yeah, we know.
Because of some of the things that you've been doing. So and Cecil you kind of laid out the background, right? We come from a group of people, because it's very specific to the Creole people.
Yeah.
An ethnicity in Sierra Leone, and they're very conservative people, right? Everything is under wraps. They have a lot of secrets and all that good stuff. So, unconsciously, some of these things were etched in our minds, right?
Yeah.
So now you come to America, and these folks are just free flowing, and they're not really thinking about all the other reasons our parents told us to be a certain way. They want us to have certain friends, right? To act a certain way. And now you come to this line of opportunity, and you see like a Ralph. And I gotta say this, it used to bother me.
What's up, Brian?
Dude, you can't put everything on Facebook. You can't put everything on social media for so many reasons, right? Because we've seen folks go flaunt on social media, and the IRS comes after them, right? There's also the religious aspect that, you put things on social media, and there are folks that they're just meant to put you down. They're going to do things to really hinder your progress. Right. So all those things are etched in my mind. So you really kind of choose what you put out there. But through evolution, or through time, through growth, through maturity, you come to think of it, and I'm a motivational speaker, right? You're trying to really put things out that will inspire people, not to show off, because not everything goes in it. To this day, I put so much more than I'm comfortable putting. Yeah. But guess what? There's things that would never go on social media. Yeah, correct. Right? Because I think it's personal.
Yeah.
However, I'm evolving in my thinking, right? You're going away from that African mindset to really, you're not putting it out to show off. You're putting it out there to really inspire someone. That's one. You're putting it out there because you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
Right. And from a scriptural standpoint, because I'm a spiritual guy, from a scriptural standpoint, it talks about boasting in the Lord. I'm not boasting on my own accomplishments. I'm boasting on someone that I believe created it for me, right? And I'm not putting it out there to put anyone else down. I'm putting it out there to inspire someone, right?
Okay.
To really get to that point. So, Ralph, take it as a compliment, brother, right? I think we've come a long ways. We've had some really tense arguments. You might have even resisted me for a while, but I'm coming around.
So
never, brother. And that's the beauty of this live, bro. Because Bobs, you can always admit that I enjoy your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Your perspective sometimes is very odd. I think this way. Yeah, but I enjoy. First of all, I like the fact that you can take your time and break down your perspective to me for me to digest it and say, okay, I may not agree, but I totally understand. So, no, never any resentment, things of that sort. But the fact that we go back and forth on such topics and such, we're normal humans, man. There's 50-50 out there. There's people that have the thinking like you do, and there's people that have the thinking like I do. Yeah, you've come a long way, Bobs. With your motivational speaking and things of that sort, blah blah. I mean, all the way down to the bright blazer jackets. Bro. So kudos to the evolution as well.
So to bring perspective and shed light, it might seem like some of this is personal, but it is. It's because, like I said, we have. I've known these guys for over 15 years, and some of the conversations we have, to put things in perspective, like Babs was saying, we grew up in Sierra Leone where we saw, it's not just our parents. We lived in a society where people just weren't willing to put things out there. And like he mentioned, there's the religious side of it. There's the tribal side of it, if you are Creole versus if you are another tribe, Mende or whatever. And I think also there's just the traditional side of it generally, where myths, people believe that if you put things out there, I mean, this is now a religious myth or whatever you want to call it, like the devil or someone's out there to put you down, and so like all these things. So there's all these reasons why people don't want to put things out there. But I think we live in a new world today wherein if you want to build a brand, and everybody's building a brand, I mean, whether you're realizing it or not, even if you stay in a profession, you want to progress and make it to the next stage in life. In order for you to do that, you have to be able to let people know what you are capable of doing. And in order to do, you have to put information out there. And we have the extremes, and I'm not saying the extremes in a bad way, but you have Ralph on one extreme, you have somebody like Babs on one, but Babs has evolved over time from that mindset. But that mindset evolution comes with exposure, and he said it, you have to unlearn to learn new things. So the next thing I would kind of wanted to touch on is, now we're all of the new school, whether we want to accept it or not, because
without me cutting you off, it's also generational.
Well, that's going to get to my next point. I think it's old school versus new school. Now, why? And this is more of a question, because we don't know we don't know explicitly why our parents and our grandparents behave that way. We're not them. We can only explain. So Babs, I'm going to give you an opportunity to start. Old school versus new school. We are in a position where we take more risk. We invest. I mean, all of us are business owners. We invest in things outside of our jobs and things like that. Why were our parents the way they are? Or why isn't the older generation in Africa, why are they the way they are generally, which I think has kind of held back the continent from a growth perspective economically? Why?
Go ahead, Bobs. Yeah, and I think you touched on it. The key thing is exposure, right? A lot of our parents, they studied overseas, and then they were exposed, right, for a certain period of time, and then they went back to Sierra Leone or wherever they came from. And rather than adapt to what they learned overseas, they came back and they adapted to their traditions and their culture, right? Because it's funny, because I was in Sierra Leone, I think about a month and a half ago, and I had this very conversation with my mom. And she thinks my hands are in too many things. So we had a one-on-one. She's like, well, you need to. And I said, listen, with all respect, and we have these conversations. You guys kept your money in the bank, right?
Or under the mattress.
Your money in the bank, and they paid you 1% interest, if even at that, right? And obviously, we've
Yeah.
Had you taken that money that you guys had that you earned and put it into some of these other things that we're exposed to now, could have been a different story. Yeah, I'm not willing to make that same mistake. I've got a family now. I've got to do.
So Kai, yeah, I think
so the exposure helps with that.
Ralph. So
from my perspective, guys, again, raised by immigrant mother, immigrant grandmother, I think, especially my grandmother, the reason why, whatever they gathered, they rarely put back out and they hid and they didn't let anyone know. Guys, I want to say it was an impoverished mindset. You can go old school versus new school, but I can tell you right now, Cecil, if I lost it all and all I had was $1 to buy a cup of noodles, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling Bob's, I'm not flaunting it on social media. I'm going to hold that thing in my pocket until I go and get my result and eat. So I want to
fair
say
enough.
One of those perspectives that the new school now, there's multiple ways for us to make money now. I'm not talking about us out here in the diaspora. I'm talking about even for the ones down home. You can go sell markets. You can go do mockery. You can go do this, do that. There's multiple options of making money now. So that fear of
scarcity mindset.
I think that that's what it is. That impoverished mindset went on for so long that still, it still may be there, but it's not as prevalent in us youngins.
Fair enough. I mean, I think you have a point there. Obi just said scarcity mindset. I think some of them knew. I mean, that could be one reason. It'd be nice to get an older person to think why, because this is all assumptions we're making. Survival, I mean, whatever their reasons were. I mean, my parents, same thing. My mom and my dad are very different. My mom tends to think like us. If she had I always tell people, if you give my mom $1 million today for May and you come by the end of May, I don't know if you're going to get $1 out of her, because she will find a way to make use of that money, that nature. And I respect that, because he sees himself as the breadwinner, the head of the household. He has to make sure certain things are in place. And I took some of those traditions, some of that ideology, to make sure, hey, I got to keep for a rainy day. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I'm not investing this money. I got it. And these are things these are things we took from our parents or the old school to keep. Now, obviously, we have access to investments, the stock market, real estate. I mean, they had access to real estate. Why didn't some of them buy more land? I mean, maybe scarcity. They didn't have the money. Whatever their reasons were, I guess we can only assume what it is. But I think you guys are right in the sense that with the new generation now today, we just have access, and we are exposed to a bigger world. The world is not what, I mean, back then, if you wanted to leave Sierra Leone to go to England or the United States, it's difficult. It still is today, or other African countries, but you don't have to leave to have access to this information. You don't have to leave Nigeria or Kenya to have access to cryptocurrency. You don't have to leave these places to essentially invest in real estate in another part of the world. Like, you don't have to leave that any country in any world or any part of the world to get on social media. I mean, anybody right now, there are people in different parts of the world watching us today. You need any information, you go to YouTube, you can find it. You can build a house from learning from YouTube. So, I mean, the world has evolved because of technology, and it's made the world smaller. And our generation has latched onto. I mean, we are millennials. The Gen Z, they're even next level with this stuff. So, I mean, our kids, it's gonna be a different thing. So now the question I wanted to ask is, why is money such a taboo in a lot of African households? I mean, this is not stuff how many of you guys, Babs, you just mentioned that you had a conversation with your mom and you had to say respectfully. We didn't have, I started having money conversations with my dad mainly when my son was born 3 years ago. Prior to that, we did, but just on the surface. Why is it such a taboo between our parents, but even within ourselves, significant others? Like, why?
right? Because she wants to do all these other things.
Yeah.
I still don't know what she earned. I still don't know what her pension is. Not that I want anything, but I think she just keeps it close to herself, right? She believes that's personal information, right?
And you are the son.
Right? I don't think anybody knows. Because there are times she'll say something and I'll ask, well, don't you get something at the end of every, like, what is it? And she'll never say, right? For whatever reason. So, there's so many other reasons I think that because of the way they've been brought up, right? And the generation thing we talked about, access to information, because think about it, our parents, our grandparents, they're not into technology like we are.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so going in, getting information, and finding out, we've got access to everything with the exposure and all the things we've mentioned. They don't have it. So really, we have the opportunity to unlearn these things like I talked about. They don't, or they choose not to, because they just don't see the benefit in doing it. If they've been doing it all this while, and in their minds it's worked for them, why change? Yeah, exactly.
So Ralph, what do you think? Why do you think people? I mean, why is it such a taboo? I mean, because this is not about a generational thing. This is something still happening. We have friends who will refuse to talk to you about money because I don't know. I mean, I have my reasons why I think, but that could let us on forever because I talk about money all the time. You and Babs knows that. Why?
I think mainly why it's a stressful topic.
Fair enough. It is. It is stressful. Very.
Money's a stressful topic, and you know what's ironic though, fellas, is that even me being married to an American woman, money is taboo in our household as well too, slightly to a certain point, but it's still taboo. Now, for example, let me give you guys an example. You don't talk about, it's tough to talk about, for example, in an African household, it's tough to talk about life insurance and financial.
Because it deals with death. I mean, not laughing, but.
The last time she was here, about a couple of weeks ago, and her first thing was, "What do you want? Kill me now? What do you want to kill me?" You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Kenny?
It's a very stressful. I think it's a very stressful topic, and again, the impoverished mindset doesn't want to go back there. I want to leave the past. I want to stay away from that. I escaped that. I have my little. I know I'm good. That's what I feel comfortable with. So I think it's that. But for this exact topic, I think it transcends just the African home. It also goes to the American as well too, because I like to have conversations about family planning and things of that sort for down the line.
Yeah.
But it's not the cutest conversation. It's not something that intrigues everyone. To just randomly have it like me, you, and Bob's could. We could talk life insurance all day. We can talk 401ks all day, but it interests us. To some people, it's just not a topic that interests me much. Very stressful. I'm trying to go on with this clean slate life.
And I don't. I mean, and that's why I created Cimifly Money to find a way, not one to educate people, to inspire people, but to find an easy way. I'm not rich. I'm not a millionaire. Would I like to be one someday and soon? Yes, I'm gonna get there. I'm on my way to getting there. But I think in order for me, I'm not just sharing what I've accomplished. I'm actually sharing my journey towards getting there and not being apologetic about any of it because I'm working hard for it, not just putting in the time, but educating myself to make sure I understand what it takes to create, most importantly, generational wealth for my children, my grandchildren, so they don't have to go through some of what our grandparents and parents went through, or whatever the case might be. And I think for a continent as a whole, if we can change our mindset towards that, we're able to build. I think Africa as a whole has an impoverished mindset. That's why you have, I mean, I don't mean to go into politics, anyone, but that's why you have politicians coming, seeing that they have 5 to 10 years and they have to do everything within that time to multiply what they've made. So when they leave, they're set for life versus, I mean, just playing your part in a system and making sure the greater population is good versus just saying, oh well, this is just me and it's for me and my family only. I mean, we're trying to make sure the black community, not just in Africa but the entire world, gets to catch up, because whether we like it or not, we are behind. And we are behind not because of what we lack in terms of resources, but because of what we lack in knowledge and education and our mindset. So I think we need to really help each other. These conversations help people to understand that you talking about money, get over yourself. I mean, nobody's counting your coins. I mean, I'm just being very honest. What Babs makes, what Ralph makes, has nothing to do with me in terms of taking care of his family. Now, obviously, if we do business together, do I care what he does as it pertains to affecting me or the business we're running? Yes, I care, but not to the point where if we go into a business 50-50, I know what he makes, but I'm not telling him how to spend it. Or if we go 60-40, it's not his concern to say Cecil has 60. I mean, these are the fruits of our labor that we're putting into this based on our risk tolerance and things of that nature. So I think
depending on the circles that you find yourself, right?
Yeah.
Even with our generation, depending on the circles that you find yourself, folks will still frown at you talking about money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it comes off, sometimes you'll come off as a show off.
Yeah, I think most people think,
because of their lack of exposure, their lack of knowledge and information. So you got to really look at, the circles where you have. And rather than give you the side eye, like this guy always talking about money, always talking about what he wants to do. It's like, I open up, with saying that, all the years I've known you, and it's close to 20 years, every time we have a conversation, something about money comes up. Because you've always got this mind, I want to do this, I want to do consistent for 20 years, right? There are folks in our community, they'll look at you like, this guy's like crazy.
Hey,
no, I'm serious.
You're right. I mean, hey.
This guy always talks about money, and to the point where I'm like, this guy's consistent. He's putting in the time, right? He reads, vlogs, blogs, whatever it is, and he's putting out the information. I gotta listen to this guy when it comes to money.
Hey, they say what you put out in the universe is what you get.
Those groups and those circles. So you really got to be very, very. You got to pay attention to the circles where you find yourself. Surround yourself with folks that are going to encourage that conversation.
You're right. I mean,
because it's going to help you down the future, rather than folks that's going to give you that side eye and try and put you down. So,
makes sense. I mean, so yeah. I think I mean, we talked about the ability. I think moving forward, because to have this conversation and not help people evolve would be injustice to everything. Because I think for us as Africans, Sierra Leoneans, Black people, brown people, minorities, whatever it is, I mean, we need to. I mean, it's funny when I said minority, and I hate saying that because I always say I was born in a continent where I am a majority. But then I have to come here to a country where I have to call myself a minority. I'm not a minority. I am part of a majority, and I'm just gonna keep it that way. So, but saying that is a mindset thing. If you make yourself small, you will be small. I mean, and then it's not saying I'm big. I'm not a big fish. I'm a small fish in a large pond. But in America specifically, I think I always tell people America is built on systems. If you want to succeed in this country, you have to abide by, but also learn these systems and follow what it takes to get to. Maybe that's these socioeconomic mechanisms is what Africa is lacking. Hence, therefore, I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe in God, but if you kind of take the history of the continent, they always say the white man went there and introduced religion to confuse us. Now, this is not me saying this, but at the end of the day, we've embraced some of these things more than the idea of making money, to the point where making money is taboo because people believe it's not something we should talk about. You shouldn't floss, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And it's not flossing, it's just information, knowledge, and that type of stuff. If we put it out there, we all need to know. It's not just balancing your checkbooks. We all need to know about home ownership. We all need to know about our 401ks. We all need to know about how much you need to retire. Like these basic informations, or you need to know about financial independence. What's it gonna take? So what do you think we can do, Ralph and I, since you just came back, and you have two different perspectives, if you want to put it that way? What can we do to unlearn to these habits? I mean, because I think we have to help each other out to figure out what can we do to unlearn these habits to make sure we embrace the future, if you want to, or the present, the today.
Yeah, I just think that us as the people that seek the knowledge from those that have the white yams, I think we need to be more respectful of that, feel comfortable with putting that information out there.
Fair enough.
For example, says if Bob's has the knowledge on logistics and how we can grow a fleet of 1,000 trucks tomorrow, I'm trying to make that knowledge with me. Just because, he may feel like if he does give that knowledge, he's giving it to the wrong people, it's getting put in the wrong hands, we're using it against some things of that sort. Man, if you did right by the guy first, he should feel free to push out that knowledge. So I think it starts with self first. Us as the people that need the knowledge, us as the people that want to find out how someone else's yams got white, I think we need to humble ourselves and we need to be accepting of that knowledge. That's one.
Fair enough.
Two, for the people that have the knowledge, I think, I don't know how to overcome that fear of us always harming each other. Overcome that fear of us harming each other, and feel free to give me the info. Feel free to let me know that you just purchased a hotel. Feel free to let me know this, and trust that I will not use this information to harm you, that I won't sabotage it, that I won't go to a spiritual and do things.
You're right, though.
Instill that trust in our community. Us as a culture, we don't have that trust, and I think that's the big key why people want to keep things so secretive. Like Bob said, being a religious person, that's one of the things. You don't want someone to take your idea, go to some witch doctor, and say whatever types of prayers or demonic things over it, and your idea doesn't come to fruition. So therefore, I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to put the idea back. If we can nip that instance in the bud, I think it'll open up more floodgates, and the culture can benefit from the culture.
Fair enough, Bob. So how do you think we can unlearn? I mean, because I'll touch on what Ralph says, but what do you think? How do you think we can unlearn these things?
And there's a process to it, right? I don't think it's something that's going to change overnight.
Fair enough.
Right? Some of these things, are etched in our subconscious, and we'll listen to this podcast today and say, yeah, great information, and then next week, right, right back to default settings, right? Because that's what we know. Right? That's what we know. That's what we're used to. That's what we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, right? Folks like you, folks like me, folks like Ralph, that we, obviously got this new thinking of doing things. We have to continue to do what we do, right? That's got to be our motivation, right? Because with information, right, some of these attitudes and these mindsets will evolve, but it's going to take time because, like I said, you've been rolling down the same thinking for 30, 40 years, and then here comes these three young guys trying to tell you to do different. Right? So that's one. Two, and I think I'll give you an example right now. Cecil, right? If you do a workshop tomorrow and you invite folks to come and listen to you speak about money, they might not show up. However, if someone else, perhaps of another race, right, does it, they will show up in droves. Right?
Fair enough.
We gotta believe in our people, right? We gotta believe in what our folks are doing. Yeah, right. We gotta believe in our own people because if you're taking the time to put these resources together and give out information for free, I don't think you're charging anyone for it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People got to be receptive to it and be able to believe in what you're doing.
But
believe in the information
so
you're getting.
and I'm not challenging what you're saying, but
You know,
part of it also to not challenging what you're saying, but just to bring a different perspective to that. I mean, but this ties into the things we value, because maybe in order for people to listen to me, I have to drive a Ferrari to prove to them that I'm rich. Because if I drive a Toyota, then they're saying, well, who are you to tell me? Because we value the wrong things. I mean, I don't like to sugarcoat money conversations, because at the end of the day, someone has to be the person telling you the hard truth. Now, if I was driving a Ferrari and I put my Ferrari on Instagram, now this is to what we were talking about, would they be drawn more to let's follow Cecil versus Cecil drives a Toyota? What is he here telling me about money? But maybe I need to, like Ralph always says, I have to find a more humble way to then say, I might drive a Toyota, but do you realize over time I've accumulated maybe 10 multifamily properties, and these properties are now giving me passive income of $10,000 a month. I have to find a non-threatening way to share that information to make sure our generation, our community feels like I'm not coming and stunting. I'm not coming and saying, hey, because I think that's what we see from our community a lot, where it's like people have, I mean, that's the way we receive information, which is funny. But then when somebody then throws that information in your face that way, you're like, oh, there he goes, stunting.
check this out. And Obi just mentioned about social proof, right? In the comment section, right? And for me, right? For me, I think
Show me the money.
now you're living outside of yourself. You're not as authentic, right?
True. There you go.
The wealthiest of people, right? They don't show anything. They don't have to show it.
Yeah.
Right? The ones that are really like faking it to make it, they're the ones that go extra hard to show it that they're rich.
Fair enough.
Right? So I think for me, and I'm subjected to that point, right?
Real quick to that point though. That's not a. First of all, your point makes sense, but I don't think that has much to do with Williams likes Cole Brown. Because let's think of Mark Zuckerberg. Let's think of let's just use Mark Zuckerberg with the infamous gray T-shirt.
Yeah.
Infamous blue jeans. But we know he's a billionaire. He didn't cover his yams, Bob. But you know he's a multi-billionaire.
We've all, listen, Rafi, we've all taken...
Fair enough, you can.
And I've accepted that I've evolved. I've evolved over the years. But we've all taken the position that it's okay to share it. However, we've seen and we've read, we've heard stories of folks that chose that, okay, I'm going to show it, and they paid consequences for it. Yeah. It's real. Yeah. Things have happened, right? MTV had this show, I think, what was it? Where they go to your house and...
Cribs?
Yeah. Right? And then the next thing you see, oh, he's filing bankruptcy because IRS showed up.
I think we have to educate ourselves. I mean, there's a difference between riches and wealth. And I mean, riches, I kind of say it's a temporary thing. Wealth is, even wealth can be wiped out for many different reasons, but it's a little bit more, it has longevity to it. And I think at the end of the day, we have to put, I mean, I've been doing this. I mean, obviously, I'll teach people one thing about something like this. We have to learn to build community and a network. I've been doing this thing. This is my 7th episode. I've been doing them solo. I always knew if I included people, I could reach more. And that's what I've done. And I know if I continue to include people, I will reach more people. And therefore, we can get the message out there. It's not that I don't want to include people in every one of them. It's just something where, before Ralph knows, before getting even started, it was a problem of me putting myself on camera. I didn't want to, but I said, okay, this is an important message. This has nothing to do with you, Cecil. Get over your fears and your feelings. This information has to be put out there. what you know, what Ralph knows, what Elvino, what any of these other people, Obi Mai, what all these people know, because all of you guys are going to come on this show eventually, needs to be put out there, because at the end of the day, we need to learn from each other in a community setting, then become less threatening to each other, be more willing to help each other, and say, okay, I'm putting the information out there for free, because at the end of the day, nothing you do, nothing any of you do will limit my growth. Are we going to make mistakes as a result of me following maybe a tip you gave me? Yes, but I'm not going to hold you responsible, because I still pulled the trigger on that. So I think for us, and trying to like get to this, because I know everybody has to go, is moving forward. I just think we have to learn to build community. We have to learn to trust each other. Now that is an easier said than done, but the more we have these conversations and be willing to participate with each other, the more we get to know what we do. I mean, I said I was going to throw a curveball into this as we talk about this. And Babs, I know you have a house in Sierra Leone. I mean, then that was my curveball. I was going to throw at you, like, maybe this is not something you want people to know, but for a young man who lives in America, you're not building a house. You have a house in Sierra Leone. This is not your mother's house. This is yours. And kudos to you for that, because for me, sometimes the mindset was, what do I want to go do anything in Sierra Leone for? I mean, but it's home at the end of the day. Well, and we talk about these things, but at the end of the day, you didn't just build, you bought one. And I mean, it's not to show off. It's not me showing off for you to tell the whole world or tell them your business. But I mean, I think we understand that if we put some of this information out there, there is a process by which you went through to acquire this that people could learn from. It's not about the fact that Bob's bought this house. It's what can you learn from? Because maybe I can say to you, building in Sierra Leone is difficult for me because I don't live there. And you can say to me, come, let me teach you how to buy and pick what you want to buy. That's information. So I think bottom line is we have to move forward by taking action, continuing to teach each other. I mean, I've seen a lot of people in here that are within our sphere, but go ahead, Ralph.
But that's a good point right there with Bob's, you know, and him having home ownership in Sierra Leone. For example, that's the project that I'm working on now. If he didn't cover his yams, I would be able to seek that information from Bob.
True, very true, very true.
I'm not attacking you personally, but this is how, you know, sometimes being open can help others and help yourself as well too.
Because you can call him and say, how did you do this?
I'll give you an example, right? And this is where I think information, someone I think May is talking about information. But the information is key. So maybe a year ago, we got together, right? All the boys got together and we talked about some things, right? Yes?
Yeah. Pandemic, yeah.
Followed up. Some of us connected, right?
Yeah.
And some others blew it off, right? To me, the folks that blew it off, they might think if they end up finding out that I did get into that investment, they might think perhaps I'm covering it. No, I'm not covering it. You showed no interest in it, so I moved on. I'm not going to dwell on trying to feed. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll continue to do what I do. If you want to tag along, the information is out there. I'm a call away. I'm putting it out there, right? But if it's just about if you want to connect, it's like what you do essential. There are folks that will connect with what you're doing now, Ralphie with Subway and all the other ventures you've got going on. And then there are some folks that's going to sit on the sideline and watch you do it.
Action. I think another important part is we have to take action. It can't just be a thought. Part of that action taking is the knowledge. You have to go seek the knowledge. Ask. If you're not comfortable asking questions, get on YouTube, get on Google, do enough research to make yourself feel comfortable, and then reach out to your friends who are talking about this like obsessively. I'm one. I talk about money all day. So you can come ask me about money. I'm not judging. If I don't have the information, I won't brush you off. I will help you seek that information and refer you to somebody who can find. That's the power of the network. That's the power of the community. So I think at the end of the day, we just have to keep building community, keep putting the information out there, reach one, teach one. And
that May person, is that there's someone on Facebook, Mesa. Is that her?
No, so this is my Burnett. This is one of the smartest women I've ever met, and Mai and I did a project a while back, something relating to Sierra Leone, and we've kind of kept in touch since then. Mai is she's a big time chef. She has a cookbook. Go online and check. It's upstairs. But
Bring mine on board. I'm sure she'll have a
so this was my plan, and real quick.
I say that because I've heard her speak about this. There it is. I've heard her speak about this before. The same topic.
Okay. So
It makes so much sense about.
So I guess I'll break it to you guys. It's funny because I like to think about things way before they even happen or tell anyone. We planned this. You challenged me, Babs, when I talked about the last topic about money, and you say, "Oh, you should talk about money from an African perspective." I said, "Okay, if you get on it, we'll do it." Then I asked Ralph to come on. So I was thinking we needed to talk about it, but we needed to get more perspectives, and we needed to get a female perspective. And Maya was going to be that person that would be Maya. I haven't told you this yet, but you're going to be coming on next with these group of guys where we can talk about because I think it's important to have varying perspectives, not just from maybe three guys, maybe somebody, because I think everybody has to find who they can relate to because we consume information or product or services from people we can relate to who are non-threatening. So it is important that as we continue this conversation, people can get it from who they trust and who they see they can relate to. Because yes, sometimes I'm not mad that you can't relate to me about money. I mean, it's okay to get it from who you can, but at least get the information. So to wrap it up, I just think for us as Africans, us as Sierra Leoneans, we have to, it's not about flossing and putting information. It's just about getting to a point where we have to be more willing to share information we have and even share your successes, because I think it's important when you share your success, you inspire others. Don't ever forget that part. That's what my mentor taught me. If reach one, teach one. So if I told you I bought a house, which I just did recently, it took me 21 years, but my wife and I bought our first house. It's not because I'm trying to brag. It's because, oh, trust me, we didn't go with a realtor. The amount of things I learned about that process, oh boy. I have a lot of information to share about this process that could help so many other people conquer this process easily, because it wasn't easy for us. Trust me. So it's a learning process. So
there are some yaps within that detail that you do keep covering.
well, yeah, there's going to be certain things that are personal and very personal for myself and my wife. But the fact that, I mean, I told Babs the other day, I said I was going to put it on my social media, but something kind of prevented me from doing it because I started thinking about what would people think. But it's not in a bad way, because I really don't care what people think. But at the end of the day, I mean, I will put it there, but it's so we can learn. Most importantly,
From an educational perspective.
well, yes, it's always to educate.
Think about this now, Cecil. If you do that, right?
Yeah.
Someone just moved down to my end, and I've been talking to these people. They've always asked
Thanks,
me,
Mike.
how were you able to buy a house? Because my home we bought like some years ago, and I said it's not hard. You talk to people, you ask questions, put a plan together, and work the plan.
Trust me, I used to run away from it because I told Ralph and I've told Mustafa, I said I just thought it was a very difficult process. But it's not. So at the end of the day, I think for our African brothers and sisters all over the world, we yam swites don't cover it. I mean, and I say this to say in the sense that put the information out there where you can educate and inspire people. A lot of what we do is not to brag, but do human beings love to stunt? I mean, every once in a while you kind of have to flex. I'm just being honest. Like you kind of have to let people know you worked hard, and if you work hard, you kind of have to be able to put it out there. But for those that don't want to see it from that perspective, see it as you're putting information out there that somebody's going to benefit from. We learned a lot about the home buying process. I've learned a lot from money and education about real estate investing from other people, not from robots. Or It's from other people. All the books we read, somebody wrote them. All the videos we watch, somebody made them. And at the end of the day, we just have to keep, as a community, keep doing these things, because only then will we trust each other and build a bigger community. I have more people show up today than have ever showed up to the last 6 episodes. So,
and Ralphie, as I was evolving, right?
yeah.
One of the things that really helped me get through that process.
Yes, sir. Work hard, ball hard.
It says, it is the blessings of God that maketh a man rich, and he adds no sorrow to it.
Amen.
When God blesses you, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You do as is. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Cecil, you just bought a house. Hey, brother, you guys worked hard for it. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You know, Ralphie, you're probably sitting in that Tesla right now.
Hey, stunting. Driving on the self-driving on the freeway and having an argument with the two of us. I was like, well, hold up, Ralph, what are your hands doing? The car's moving, but I mean, I'm just, yeah. but yeah, so I think this has been an insightful conversation. We'll do it again. We'll keep doing these every so often. I'm coming. We're going to have you join the conversation. Anybody who wants to join, hit me up. We're going to run it back. I'll reach out to every one of you guys so we can make time to run it back, to just get everybody to just this is an interesting conversation that we need to keep having, because only then would we not only educate, but collaborate to move the needle, to move the socioeconomic needle, to make sure we all build wealth for ourselves, our families, and our unborn children, and transfer some of that to the African continent to make sure, we secure a future. Obviously, there's great things going on out there that people don't talk about. Watch like something like Wodemaya on YouTube, and he puts information out there about amazing things young people are doing on that continent that blows my mind. So at the end of the day, we're going to keep doing this. This circle of friends that I have here, I've known for 15, 20 years. We've done business. We've made mistakes, a lot of mistakes. We've had successes, big successes. We just want to be able to share them. And regardless of how many times we might stumble, we have continued to do things as a group and not say, oh, this person did this, so I'm not going to mess with them anymore. Because you have to take responsibility for your mistakes and learn, but be willing to learn from them and regroup. Talk to your friend. Hey, that happened. How do we evolve from it? So this is how us as Africans, Sierra Leoneans have to evolve. Don't hide your successes, because if you don't tell me, I'm not going to know how to even help you to get to the next level. Or if you don't tell me what you're doing, period, I wouldn't know how to help you. And if you get stuck and something happens, I'm just saying, I don't know how to help. But so I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Yes. So, check this out. Go check out royaldynamite.com. Babs is wearing his Royal Dynamite t-shirt. I am. Shameless plug. Royal Dynamite is a lifestyle t-shirt brand building community. So go check it out. We have some new stuff coming up this summer. Get a shirt. Just sometimes support. I always tell people support wouldn't make me rich. But if we start learning first how to support each other, then we put pressure on each other to get better, to build a community and brands that we can hold people accountable to make sure the quality control and what we put out there is second to none. I wear quality stuff, so I'm just saying this stuff the three of us are wearing is not just because we want to support each other. This is good quality stuff. So I'm getting my Okiefa shades for the summer. So best believe. I think also the power of seeing things over and over again helps. I follow it on social media. I've seen Ralph. I've seen Ralph's kids wear it. So I'm like, hey, rather than go buy, I lost my Ray-Bans. So rather than go buy some Ray-Bans, why not join this movement and make sure we support each other? So thank you guys very, very much. I really appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Trust me, this means a lot to all of us to put this information out there. It means a lot to me to be able to build community with you guys and break bread. So we're going to keep doing this stuff. I'm going to be on again in 2 weeks talking about networking. So tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's just keep this going, brothers. Any last words?
I want to shout out as well, too, VinoInspires.com. perspective of, me and you joined forces and we started Royal Dynamite. We saw Bob
12 years ago.
start Vino Inspires, and he was having footing, catching his traction, and being the clowns that we were, we were throwing the shots at him and all that stuff. But look at it now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Vino Inspires, my brother Bob's. I'm very proud of you, man.
I mean, Bob's knows I forced him. I forced him to be better. When Bob's asked me to say support me, I said get better. I mean, I will support you regardless, but I'm going to support you to get better, not to just stay where you are. And I think us holding each other accountable is a lot of help, because business or leadership is a very difficult thing to conquer. I mean, people make it seem easy, but leadership, especially, and scaling is not an easy. I mean, we're all still trying to figure out scaling, but we're getting there with the support of each other.
You see what we just started, right? If we can have cliques of these, right, around, and not just Sierra Leone.
Podcast coming soon. Just saying.
Networking, wherein we can connect.
Yeah.
I see some folks here, the Shades, the Cooking Book. If we can put, obviously, RD's a brand now, right? They're sponsoring my football team in Sierra Leone, right?
Yes, we do. We do.
With all the things that if we can connect like this on this level, right? Think about
Yes,
how
definitely.
we can come from that. I know. Think about how we can inspire our children to connect with each other. Man, the sky's the limit, man. I'm excited.
Definitely, man. So we'll do this again. We'll talk about money again from an African perspective, and we'll bring on Mai to get a woman's perspective. But I also think, for me, I always like to meet people where they are. So for whoever doesn't maybe feel comfortable looking at me and Ralph or Elvino and saying I could take advice from these people, they can have someone they can relate to. And we're going to keep bringing more people on. And eventually, one of my goals is to turn Cimifly Money into a podcast to talk about money. So it's just going to be a podcast just talking about money, period.
Not one mention of politics, because that
No.
tends to divide us.
Yeah.
Right? Not one mention of it. Look at Ralph is dying.
With that said, I'm going to get out of here now because anyway, but the reason we're laughing is because we have heated arguments about a lot of different topics. But I mean, thank you guys for coming on. I keep saying this, but I deeply appreciate it. And we're going to do this again soon. And Ralph, like daddy duty calls, got to go pick up Kenzo. So, hey, thank you guys.